Lance Edward Armstrong was a name synonymous with supreme courage, determination, and the ability to bounce back. His spectacular return to the sporting career after suffering from cancer and going on to win the most prestigious cycling trophy, Tour de France, that too a record 7 times in a row, was simply incredible. Armstrong became a celebrity in his lifetime. He dated celebrities, earned millions, became famous as a philanthropist, and started a cancer foundation. At the peak of his career, Armstrong was one of the most celebrated athletes in the world and was said to be earning $28 million a year from team salaries and sponsorship deals. But, like a pack of cards, it all fell apart. Alex Gibney, the Oscar-winning documentarian, produced a documentary, The Armstrong Lie, which unravels the psychology of one of sport's most notorious cheaters. Hailed as a hero initially, the end was brutal for Armstrong. All his records were cancelled, and he was stripped off of all his titles due to the doping charges. When first accused of doping, shockingly, Armstrong, instead of being repentant, became downright vindictive. He lied about his cheating, attacked his critics, and even tried to ruin people's careers. But after years of denial, Armstrong finally admitted to Oprah Winfrey on her TV show that he not only used drugs in his first Tour de France victory, but also in all the 6 that followed. When asked by Oprah if he used the blood booster EPO, blood doping transfusions, or testosterone or human growth hormone, Armstrong confessed of having used each one of them. Lance further said that he never thought that he was cheating at that time or doing something wrong. He confessed that he had begun to use banned drugs for better performance in the mid-1990s. Travis Tygart, CEO of USADA, claims that Armstrong had the, I quote, most systematic doping scheme in sports, unquote, because Armstrong was never caught during any of his 7 Tour de France victories. Travis also reported that Armstrong pressured his teammates for using his tactics for doping. And when he and his teammates started their blood doping regime, initially the tests were easy to defeat as there was no way of tracing the EPO, erythropoietin. But as the tests caught up with them, the cyclists began to manipulate the results by carefully scheduling and using microdoses. There were times, in fact, when they finished their transfusions on a bus surrounded by reporters and the cycling brass. In the Oprah Winfrey show, Armstrong described the whole routine of removing his own blood and weeks later re-injecting it into his body again to build strength and endurance. When pressed further, Armstrong replied that it was, I quote, like saying we have to have air in our tires or water in our bottles. That was, in my view, part of the job, unquote. While doping in itself was a crime, Lance Armstrong did not stop just there. He would go on and bribe authorities, officials, even institutions. Travis Tygart, in one of his interviews to 60 Minutes, said that Lance tried to bribe USADA with 250,000 US dollars as a donation to the agency in the year 2004. Tyler Hamilton, in his book The Secret Race, writes about an incident wherein Armstrong called up the president of the International Cycling Union to cover up his positive doping test, a fact which indeed never got reported anywhere. Lance Armstrong was considered to be a bully as well. He could simply not let it go when someone accused him of cheating. Armstrong allegedly railroaded teammates who refused to dope, ruined people who told the truth about his doping, and sued so many people that by his own admission, he couldn't even remember their names. For instance, he sued the Sunday Times when they doubted his victories and won a whopping 500,000 US dollars. Much later, when the truth of his doping came out, the newspaper sued back to get their money. Lance Armstrong confessed to bullying Emma O'Reilly, the former massage therapist who tried to expose Armstrong's doping way back in 2003. I quote, "We ran over her. We bullied her," unquote. And one of his ways of harassing the therapist was to sue her. Betsy Andre, wife of former teammate Frankie Andre, who struggled to find work in the cycling world after Armstrong dropped him from the team, was one of the first people to come forward and speak of how Armstrong is involved in doping. When first accused of doping charges by Betsy, Armstrong had laughed them off and had labeled her as being jealous and was simply carrying out a vendetta. Even in his interview with Oprah Winfrey, Lance admitted of calling Betsy a crazy bitch, giving a glimpse to the disrespect he had for women in general. Cyclist Lance Armstrong overcame incredible personal adversity to reach the highest levels of success. Then, just as spectacularly, he fell from grace in a public scandal that destroyed not only his reputation, but also the reputations of many others who had devoted themselves to him. In the end, tarnishing the entire sport of professional cycling.